I remember the moment the air changed between us, not with a loud explosion, but with a silence so heavy it felt like the walls held their breath. It was a Tuesday night. I was sitting on the couch, laptop open, half watching an old movie while waiting for my wife, Claire, to return from her team-building retreat. She had gone on these corporate trips before. 3 days away, fancy hotels, polished Instagram stories of champagne glasses and scenic views. I never questioned it. I loved her. I trusted her. The key turned in the lock. She stepped in, suitcase rolling behind her, dressed in that navy blazer she wore when she wanted to look both professional and powerful. But something was different this time. Her eyes darted away when they met mine. "Hey," I said softly, rising to help her with the bags. "How was it?" "Productive," she replied, kissing me on the cheek. "Quick, rehearsed like a formality." "I'm exhausted." She moved past me, her phone already in hand. I noticed how quickly she typed, the way her thumb hovered over the screen as if sending a message that couldn't wait. That night she turned away from me in bed. Her breathing was slow, deliberate, too deliberate for someone asleep. It began as a flicker of doubt, a whisper at the back of my mind. I told myself I was imagining it. But doubt, once born, doesn't sleep, it festers. 2 days later, while she was in the shower, her phone buzzed on the nightstand. I never checked her phone in 7 years of marriage. I never needed to. But this time my hand moved before my conscience could stop me. A message preview glowed on the screen. "Miss you already. Last night was unforgettable." It was from a number I didn't recognize. A man's name beneath it. Daniel K. My stomach dropped. My fingers turned to ice. I opened the chat. There they were, messages, photos, hotel selfies I had never seen before. Her in a robe, wine glass in hand, captioned, "Room service and you, best combo." The room spun. My wife, the woman I built my life around, was paying for her promotions with something far more than hard work. I didn't confront her immediately. Betrayal has its own clock. I needed to know how deep it went. Over the next week I played the part of the loving husband, made her coffee, kissed her goodbye, asked about her day. All the while I dug. Bank statements, unexplained hotel charges, email drafts, unsent but saved, proof of team dinners that were just covers. And finally, an old group photo from their last corporate trip. Claire, 2 senior managers, and that same man, Daniel. His hand just a little too low on her back. She had traded herself for promotions, for trips, for a faster climb up the corporate ladder. When the truth settled in, it didn't come with rage. It came with grief. I remembered the nights we ate instant noodles together when money was tight, the way she used to fall asleep on my chest after long days. I remembered believing we were a team. But she had chosen ambition over us. The breaking point came on a Friday night. We were hosting a small dinner. Her management team was coming over to celebrate her latest promotion. I had already made my decision by then. They arrived dressed like royalty. Men in tailored suits, women with tight smiles and polished heels. Claire floated among them, radiant and cold, as if she belonged to them more than to me. I raised my glass during dinner. "To Claire," I said. "For everything she's sacrificed to get here." She smiled, touched my arm. "Thank you, honey." I let the silence linger before I spoke again. "But tonight isn't just about her hard work," I said, my voice steady. "It's about the unique methods this team uses to ensure their promotions are earned." Her face froze. Forks paused midair. I pulled out the envelope I had prepared. Printed messages, hotel invoices, photos. I dropped them on the table like cards in a high-stakes game. "You didn't just mentor my wife," I said, staring at Daniel, then the others. "You bought her. And she sold herself willingly." The room went deathly quiet. Claire's lips trembled. "James, please." "No," I cut in. "Not tonight. Tonight, the truth sits at this table, whether anyone here likes it or not." What followed was chaos. Stammering denials, pale faces, someone knocking over a glass of wine. One of the managers stood up, muttering something about leaving, but I didn't care. I had already won. Not in the way I wanted, but in the only way left to me. Claire chased after me when I walked out to the porch. "Why would you do that?" she hissed, her voice shaking. I turned to her, the woman I once thought I'd grow old with. "Because you made me part of your lie," I said. "You made me live in a house built on your ambition. You didn't just betray me. You humiliated me every time you came home from those trips and kissed me like nothing happened." Tears welled in her eyes. "I was trying to get ahead for us." "No," I whispered. "You did it for you. Don't make me a shield for your choices." That night, she slept in the guest room. By Monday, I had spoken to a lawyer. I froze our joint accounts, filed for separation, and moved in with my brother temporarily. Claire tried calling, texting, even showing up at my workplace once, begging to talk. I didn't scream. I didn't hit her with cruel words. I just stopped being the man who believed in her. Weeks passed. Word got around at her office. HR got involved, investigations started. Daniel was quietly reassigned. Another manager resigned. Claire's promotion revoked. I heard through mutual friends that she called me vindictive, that I ruined her career. But here's the thing about betrayal. It writes its own ending. I didn't ruin her. I only turned on the lights. One evening, months later, she showed up at the cafe where I often went after work. She looked different, smaller somehow without the armor of her title. "Can we talk?" she asked, voice soft. He nodded. I ruined everything, didn't I?" she whispered. "No," I said quietly. "You chose everything. You just didn't expect the cost." She reached for my hand, but I pulled away. "I don't hate you, Claire," I continued. "But I can't be with someone I can't respect. And I can't respect what you became." When I left that cafe, I didn't look back. Betrayal doesn't just break hearts. It rewrites the person you were before you knew. I walked out lighter, not because the pain was gone, but because I finally stopped carrying her sins on my back. She stayed behind, staring into her untouched coffee, probably replaying the moment she traded everything real for something that never lasted. And me. I went home, not to the house we shared, but to a small apartment with bare walls and new beginnings. Sometimes the most powerful revenge isn't rage, or public shame, or even justice. It's rebuilding your life so completely that their memory becomes a footnote, not a chapter.